My office and committee staff have received many calls and questions about our bill process and an alleged fast tracking of bills. So I want to take a minute to clarify things for the public here today and those watching our hearing remotely. This past Monday, the Senate voted to suspend what is called Joint Rule 55 and Section 8 of Article 4 of the Constitution. That's the 30-day in-print rule to facilitate business of the House. The rule suspension applies to all Senate bills. The rule suspension was approved on a bipartisan vote, 31-6, and it mirrors what we did last year in 2021, given that the Senate is operating still under COVID protocols. For example, it helps limit the number of hearings operating at the same time to avoid member, staff, and public exposure, such as having to run back and forth from meetings, which my colleagues certainly have to do. The majority of the bills that will be introduced, or the majority of bills will be introduced next week before the bill deadline of February 18th. And they have to be referred to policy committees from this committee, the Rules Committee. Without a rule suspension, all bills must be in print for 30 days before they can be heard. In the COVID pandemic, this leads to long bill hearings with a number of bills being heard and a few hearings due to when they were introduced. So it does jam up the process. Based on the calls that I have received, that my office has received, it's clear that some members of the public are really concerned about several vaccine-related bills being so-called fast-tracked. I want to assure you that is not the case. The two bills related to vaccines, SB 871 and SB 866, are not scheduled to be referred from the Rules Committee this week. I hope that that clarification is really helpful to the public. A bill cannot be heard until the Rules Committee refers it to a policy committee, and policy committee hearings will not begin until the first week of March, due to February being reserved for budget subcommittee hearings. All committees must properly notice bills that will be heard. The suspension of the rule does not change that. So I felt like it was really important, given the calls that we received, to make those comments.